Hey everyone, it's Jordan. Welcome to Jordan Presents. Today we are going to be discussing the haunted Elsa doll. Now, some of you may get like a little weirded out by this. I don't really think it's that scary because I don't know. I had a Furby. Anybody who's ever had a Furby, you know what I'm talking about. I'm serious. These things are creepy. I could do an entire playlist just on Furbies. If you've never had one, don't get one. Don't. Seriously, don't. But talking about the Elsa doll. Okay. Now, there's a few names I might butcher. I don't know. I'm going to try not to. But back in 2013, Emily Madonia, I believe that's how it's called, or how it's said. Emily bought her daughter, when she was only about a year old, an Elsa doll. Now, it was just one of those regular Elsa dolls. You know, you push the little button and it sings Let It Go from Frozen. And it can either sing in English or Spanish, depending on which switch you turn it to. Well, apparently, this Elsa doll is just creepy. I mean, for the first few years, everything was fine. And then it started singing in English and Spanish by itself without you flipping the switch from English to Spanish. And then it just started singing on its own, even when it was turned off, even with nobody pressing the button, it just starts singing. And then eventually would only sing in Spanish and not English. So Emily and Matt, her husband, not thinking much of it, they were like, okay, well, you know what? The doll is about 6 years old and we're just going to throw it away. It's malfunctioning or something like that. So they put it in the trash bag with other trash and they tie it up, take it out to the trash can outside, and forgot about it. Well, about a week later, Matt went to get something out of the bench that was in their living room. And he lifts it up and it has a whole bunch of clothes and blankets and stuff like that. Well, he lets out the scream and Emily comes running in. And there on top of the blankets and clothes was the Elsa doll. Yeah, inside their house. So she didn't think her daughters would, or her kids actually, would go into the garbage or anything like that, but she asked them anyways, and they were like, no, we never did that. So they took the doll, and this time they put it in its own trash bag, tied it up, put it at the bottom of another trash bag, poured trash on top of that, tied it up, and then they took it outside to the garbage bins and watched the trash men pick up the garbage. So after that, they figured everything was done. So they went on vacation. They were gone for about a week or two, I guess. Doesn't really say how long they were gone, but when they came back, their daughter had actually started screaming. She saw the Elsa doll in the backyard. Now, it was actually, they watched it being taken from the trash men, actually picked it up. And they knew it was the same doll. A lot of people said, well, it was just a prank or something like that. But she said her daughter had it when she was a year old. So it had like crayon and marker. Plus, it was 6 years old. The thing was raggedy and had been thrown away a couple times. So if it was a prank, somebody would actually had to go down to the dump site and dig it up or go, whatever. And there was no way. So this actually really, really freaked them out. They were like, okay, you know what? We have to get rid of this. And they started posting on Facebook, somebody needs to help us here. We have this possessed doll and everything else, and we don't know how to get rid of it. So this one guy, a friend of theirs, posted, hey, give it to me. I'll do it. And she was like, sure, no problem. I'll send it to you, PM me your address and I'll send it to you. And this guy lived in Minnesota. They were in Texas. So he was like 1,500 miles away. And Emily said that when she was boxing up the doll, it wasn't turned on or anything. The thing sat there and started laughing at her while she's trying to put this thing in the box. Okay, now that would have freaked me out. That would have. I mean, we had a Furby that we got tired of it. We took the batteries out. It still talked. We put it in the freezer, and every time you would freeze the door, that thing would start, the eyes would open and start talking. That thing was creepy. So this Elsa doll was actually, while she's trying to box it up, just sitting there laughing. And she was like, okay, you know what? You have got to go. And she like boxed it up. She sent it to this guy. His name is Chris Hogan. And he's in Minnesota. So he has this store. And he has like another creepy doll in his store and everything. He was like, oh, yeah. That's no problem. I'm not superstitious or anything like that. So he takes the Elsa doll and he duct tapes it to the grill of his Jeep. And he like drives around like that and everything just to, I don't know, mess with the doll. But he says he hasn't really had any strange occurrences, but he like taped her up and everything. He never even tried to throw it away. But one time he did stop by a bar and he was about ready to shoot some pool and everything like that. And all of a sudden the ceiling tile just fell out right where he was standing. He moved out of the way, luckily, but right there where he was standing, he was like, all right, I get you, Elsa. I get you. But luckily, the doll has never made its way back to Texas, which Emily is really happy for. She says, and I hope it never will. But yeah, a lot of people are like, maybe it's just, maybe somebody's pranking you or whatever. And she's like, if they did try to prank me, they are being really elaborate with it because they would have had to dig it out of the trash without anybody knowing, sneak into their house, break into their house just to put the doll in the chest bin. She said that's just, I mean, it is possible, I guess, but she doesn't think so. She was like, you know what? I do believe in the unknown, and it was entertaining for a while. So, but I'm glad the doll's gone, and hopefully it never comes back. So that's the story of the singing Elsa doll, and I will try to put some pictures of it because I did find some pictures online, not too much. All the Facebook posts have been taken down, so I don't know if she just deleted her Facebook account and started a new one, or just took those down. But I couldn't find any, unless it was like a news article or something like that. And I don't want to do plagiarism or anything, but I will post some of the pictures that I have found. But yeah, so that's the story for the day. That's the haunted Elsa doll. And thank you for joining. Bye.